5.1 Basic Concepts of Probability, Video 2. Our next definition is sample space, which is pretty straightforward. If you have an experiment, a sample space is the set of all possible outcomes for an experiment. For example, let's say you flip one coin, and I ask you what could possibly happen. Well, it can either be heads or it could be tails. So the sample space for flipping a coin is the set containing heads and tails. What if you roll a die? What would the sample space for rolling a single die be? Well, the possible outcomes from rolling a die are 1 through 6. So the sample space for rolling one die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pretty straightforward. Now sometimes experiments are a little bit more involved and have more outcomes. For example, let's say we flip 2 coins and I want to know what the sample space is. Well, if you notice, I haven't written the sample space yet, so let's figure it out. If I flip 2 coins, one in a row, what could possibly happen? Now, for the sake of clarity, let's assume that these are 2 different coins and then you can tell them apart. For example, you flip a penny and then you flip a nickel in that order. So what's one possible outcome? Well, they could both come up heads. So we could write HH to represent both coins coming up heads. Or they could both come up tails. So we could represent that outcome as TT. But we could get one of each. Now because the order matters, we actually have 2 more outcomes. Either the first coin comes up heads and the second one comes up tails, or the first coin is tails and the second is heads. And it is important to note that these 2 are different outcomes. Even though they have the same letters, because we're considering the order, they are considered different outcomes. Now, how would you calculate the sample space for something larger, like flipping, 3 coins? Well, I'll show you a technique for that, and then we'll actually get to the definition of probability.